Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Sayyam Badia. Yesterday we learned about the plant tissues. Now in this class we will learn about the first type of plant tissue, that is meristematic tissue. So meristematic tissue, we learned first of all that these plant tissues are divided into two types, that is meristematic and permanent. Meristematic tissues have ability to divide. The cells of these tissue can divide, but in the permanent tissues, the plant cell, due to the process of differentiation, these permanent tissues cells lose ability to divide. Okay, so meristematic tissues cells can divide, but permanent tissue cells lose their ability to divide. Now we are going to learn three types of meristematic tissues. So let me rub everything on the screen. See how we go. So we are going to learn about meristematic tissues. Okay, so as we learned that meristematic tissues have ability to divide, on the basis of that, the cells, we are going to learn about cells now. Cells of these meristematic tissues are very active. They need to have more mitochondria because they need to have more energy production and thus more division. So they are very active, have more mitochondria, have a dense cytoplasm. Now here, dense means nutrient rich. Okay, so nutrient rich or dense cytoplasm, they have thin cell walls. But now why thin cell walls? This would be learnt in the higher classes. Okay, so I'll tell you now, thin cell walls, as they divide, the hard cell wall needs to be, there is a process called cell plate formation. These thin cell walls, due to this, they need not go through that process and thus division is easy. They have a prominent nuclei. Okay, and they lack vacuoles. Now I want you to tell me the reason of why they lack vacuoles in the next class. Okay, now we are going to learn about the three types of meristematic tissues. That is, first is apical meristem, second is lateral. Just a minute, I'll leave some space so that I can write everything. Second is lateral meristem, and the third one is intercalary meristem. Okay, so three types of meristematic: apical, lateral, and intercalary. So apical meristems are present. First we'll learn location. They are present on the tips of roots and shoot. Okay, they help in increasing length of plant. Okay, so this was about apical meristem. So apical, I'll draw a little tree diagram here. Okay, sorry, I'm very bad at drawing. So if this is our plant, okay, if this is our plant, then apical meristem would be present here. So I'll label it A, and here. Okay, lateral meristem, where is lateral meristem, this increases girth or width of stem and roots. Now lateral meristem, as they increase girth and width, these lateral meristems are present around the edges of the tree. Like if this is the bark, then lateral meristem would be present on the edges. Okay, so this is the thing. So lateral meristem. Now when we talk about intercalary meristem, intercalary meristems are present between the nodes of leaves. Okay, located near the nodes of leaves. So if this is the leaf, so leaf node is present here. Okay, so here the third type of meristem is found. This is done. Now let's move on to permanent tissue. Permanent tissue, or a simple permanent tissue, as we seen yesterday, these permanent tissue have three. Permanent tissues have basically two types: simple permanent and complex permanent. So the first type we'll discuss here is simple permanent. So simple permanent tissues. Okay, simple permanent tissues is divided into three categories: parenchyma, second is Collenchyma, and third one is Sclerenchyma. Okay, these are the three types of tissues. Now let's start with parenchyma. Okay, I'll write about parenchyma in blue, so you would know which color I'm using. So parenchyma, I'll write here P. Parenchyma have unspecialized cells with thin cell walls. Okay, they have unspecialized cells with thin cell walls. Second point is they have all living cells. No dead cells are present in parenchyma. The third is they have the cells are very much loosen kind of situation is there, so they have great intercellular spaces. Okay, and they essentially their main function is to store food. Okay, so these are the four things you need to write if examiner asks you about parenchyma. Now, when this parenchyma stores chlorophyll in them and produce food, not store, it also produces food if it contains chlorophyll, then it is called as Colorechyma. So when it is called Colorechyma, when it contains chlorophyll. Now what will chlorophyll help? It help in photosynthesis. Okay. Now in the aerial plants or the aquatic plants, the like in lotus, if we see the lotus floats, now this lotus floats due to the presence of parenchyma with more air spaces in between. In the parenchyma there is more air spaces, and thus the parenchyma is called as Parenchyma. Okay, so Parenchyma in aquatic plants, they have large air cavities, okay, which helps them to float. Okay, so this was about Parenchyma. Now we'll talk about the second type of simple permanent tissue, and I'll write this one with help of green color, that is Collenchyma. So C. Collenchyma helps in bending various parts of plants like tendril. Okay, so Collenchyma helps in bending various parts of the plant, which implies they provide mechanical support. Now why we are implying that it help providing mechanical support? Because if we bend excessively, not excessively, if we just bend, if this Collenchyma were not present there, then the tendrils would fall apart. But this doesn't happen due to the presence of Collenchyma. If we bend beyond the capacity of the plant, they do not break. Okay, so which can also be implied that it provides flexibility. It makes plant more flexible. Okay, so let's talk about cells. Cells are elongated. You need to refer the NCERT diagrams for these things. Okay, elongated and irregularly thickened at corners. Okay, so this is about cells. The next point is they have very little intercellular space. Less intercellular space than Parenchyma. So Collenchyma has less intercellular space. Okay. Now we'll talk about Sclerenchyma, and I'll use red color. Okay. So Sclerenchyma is all made up of dead cells. Okay. Now these dead cells help in making plant hard and stiff, like the bark. The bark is made up of Sclerenchyma. So they have narrow and elongated as the walls are thickened by lignin. Now you will ask, what is lignin? So lignin substance that joins the wall of two cells to make it tough. Very strong material is lignin. Okay. Now, as lignin is present between the walls, they have no intercellular spaces, as guessed, are absent. Okay. And the last point is it provides strength to the plant. Okay. Then these are present in first stems, second around vascular bundle, in veins of leaves, and around the hard covering in seeds. So out of Parenchyma, Collenchyma and Sclerenchyma is all dead and these both are living. So this could be a very important question, that which all of the three simple permanent tissue is dead. So we call it Sclerenchyma. Okay. So we studied meristematic tissues, types of meristematic tissue, simple permanent tissues like Parenchyma, Collenchyma and Sclerenchyma. In the next video, we are going to learn about epidermis and the complex permanent tissue, that is xylem and phloem. Thank you.